Mayhem and adventures did we partake in this week with the comics? I'm about ready to tell you. Sit tight and let's go on this ride. But first, let's roll the intro. Y'all, this is Monday, Memorial Day, and this is the officially unofficial geek channel. My name is Carrie Quinn, and you have stumbled upon, or maybe you came here out of your own free will, the officially unofficial geek channel Spoilertastic Weekly comic review. I had every intention of recording this last night, but I didn't because well, fill in that blank. Anyways, guys, here we go. We're going to talk about all the comics I read last week in no particular order until we hit the top three. And then I will highlight my top three comics from this past week. And, but anyways, let's get on with it. As always, these are spoiler-tastic reviews, which means I'm going to tell you anything and everything involving these books, what I thought of them, and all that jazz. So let's do this, shall we? Let's get into this. Without further ado, first book I'm going to talk about is Harley Quinn number 30. This is the third issue of the Teenie Howard and Sweeney Boo line. It looks like we've also got some writing from Maines, Nicole Maines, and we've got some art from Lee. Cover by Sweeney Boo. So I started out really disliking this run, and I'm not necessarily completely sold on it yet, but it is improving because we have one of my major complaints is that it was dumbing down Harley Quinn, and it's still doing that a teensy bit. However, we do have two individuals from Harley's life kind of just like sitting there and being like, you're not really like this. And it looks like that this was kind of an intention possibly an intention on the writer's part to start out with Harley being kind of ditzy. And maybe it is going to grow from here, but we do have a guest star from Captain Carrot, y'all. Captain Carrot is in this book because if you've been reading Harley, you know that Harley somehow accidentally became in possession of Captain Carrot's Vorpal fish. Okay, so what's a Vorpal fish? Well, a Vorpal fish basically is a weapon that Captain Carrot was supposed to use to fight his universe's version of Darkseid, which is called Backside. Um, I know, I found that funny as well. But it just poof out of nowhere left, and all of his friends got killed and everything like that. It's not working out very well for Captain Carrot. However, when Captain Carrot, it basically, he was supposed to use this Vorpal fish to defeat Darkseid, and when it just kind of like disappeared, things did not work out very well for Captain Carrot, and Harley is looking for a way to return the Vorpal fish to do what's right. And so she does everything she can to figure that out. She ends up in Captain Carrot's universe where Captain Carrot is it's basically everything is decimated, and Captain Carrot is recluse hermit in a little bit crazed, and has to everything is not necessarily working out there. He is not fond of Harley at this point, and Harley's like, man, I didn't even like mean to do this. Like, it just kind of came like to me, which is true. So we'll have to see where this goes. Bud and Lou are still her guides in this situation. And we have the ending where basically Poison Ivy comes home, which is, something that's happening in Poison Ivy's comic as well. That, Poison Ivy is now home and, all that. So basically, we are doing better with the way that Harley is portrayed. It's not necessarily making me want to gag anymore, which is good. We'll have to see how this progresses. You guys know I'm a big Harley stan, so I'm going to keep on getting the comic until it actually makes me vomit, if it ever does. And it hasn't actually made me vomit yet. So we have nowhere to go but up, but we also have everywhere to go down where it could actually make me vomit. So we're going to cross our fingers that the Harley comic does not go to that place, but it has been getting progressively better. We'll have to see what happens in the future. Sweeney Boo's art style is still extremely cute, loving it. But yeah, it's even a great art style. Yeah, if that goes south, if that story goes south again, oof. Oh no. Anyways, guys, next we're going to talk about Superman Action Comics number 1055. Now, as always, this is a little bit of a old school kind of anthology kind of situation where we have a few different stories in the issue. All now that the Supergirl, or excuse me, Power Girl story is kind of going off on its own. We're not necessarily having a rough time reading this. However, there are definitely some stories that are better than others. We've got the Cyborg Superman Returns. Yes, and this is not a fake out on the cover. Henshaw is there, and he's a part of the main storyline involving Metello and all that. So Steel was a little bit slow. I'm going to be honest with you. It seemed a little bit slow. It was like, okay, the setting of it kind of dragged a little bit on this whole board meeting kind of thing where John Henry is presenting his idea, and it kind of dragged through that, and it did not excite me very much. It was like you had Superboy and Natasha Irons sitting there waiting for the call to go ahead and do what they need to do, and arguing in a boardroom. And I that drug on way too much for me, and I needed a little bit more action. Anyways, next we're going to talk about Dawn of DC Nightwing number 104. We've got a few creators on that. We got Taylor Packett, Moore, HDR, Trinidad, and Lucas. This cover is Bruno Redondo. It's pretty obvious. It's his style. And it's an homage to that one GIF where they're like, oh yeah. I look really strange doing that, so please do not unsubscribe to me because I did that. I'll never do it again. Anyway, so this is basically the conclusion of the whole Neuron Olivia, Blockbuster sold his daughter's soul kind of situation, in which we find Nightwing has been blessed with superpowers by Neuron Neuron's trying to entice him to give up Olivia, the little girl. And Olivia, he's obviously like, I'm going to use these powers while I have them, but I'm totally not going to give up the little girl. So it was very much, Nightwing not showing his hand right away and just going on with what he's doing. Now, I I'm gonna tell you something that might surprise my viewers here. Okay, so it might surprise you, but I nitpick. I nitpick quite frequently. You know, I nitpick. I really do. And there's a moment at the end of this main story that I'm gonna call out. You know what? I am going to call out. I'm gonna call this out. What is happening with DC editorial that we have a story that we text and editor's notes places after Dark Crisis, because there's text that places after Dark Crisis talking about how the Titans are going to be the main team, that the Justice League is currently disbanded, and so it places that after Dark Crisis, but it also places it before Fury of the Gods, the Lazarus Island, Shazam, and Wonder Woman thing that I did not read, that apparently Wonder Woman lost mortality. She's now immortal. Apparently Hippolyta has ascended to be, she's not only dead, but she's now ascended to the gods. Now, herein lies my problem. When Olivia appears to be out of harm's way, Donna Troy and because they're currently on Themyscira, okay? Donna Troy tells Olivia that Queen Hippolyta has insisted that Olivia live with them to train and live and work on the, human strength that she has and everything like that she inherited from her father. And she's going to be one of the Amazons. Queen Hippolyta. There is no Queen Hippolyta anymore. There's no Queen Hippolyta anymore. Queen Hippolyta does not exist, y'all. I mean, she did exist. She exists. However, she is not Queen Hippolyta anymore. She's not Queen Hippolyta. It is Queen Nubia. Recognize. Recognize. Queen Nubia. So much Hippolyta is not queen of the Amazons at this time period. Not only that, she dead. She's dead. Hippolyta is dead at this point in the timeline that they've already established in text/editor notes throughout the whole goddamn thing. Hippolyta is dead. Long live Queen Nubia of the Amazons. DC Entertainment, my name is Carrie Quinn. I would love to be an editor working for you. Okay, all right, so let's move on to something a little bit sunnier, a little bit shinier, a little bit more fun, all right? Than going through an entire issue being like, this is going good, this is ending well, this is real. Oh. And let's move on to something a little bit sunnier, a little bit shinier, and we're going to talk about IDW Saturday Morning Adventures Dungeons and Dragons number 3, continuing a wonderful, fun little retro storyline that is honestly a great palate cleanser. We have another really great palate cleanser that we're going to be talking about before the end of the video. Listen, if you are my age and you love D&D and you remember the cartoon, this is basically continuing the cartoon from the 80s, and it's great. It's great little fun, and I don't think that we have too many issues that are going to be coming out about this one. I think the next one is going to be the conclusion. That's unfortunate. I'm going to have to find another couple more palate cleanser books, but hopefully maybe it will continue on. Maybe there'll be another season. Like there's going to be I think starting next week or sometime soon there's going to be a Saturday morning classic, Saturday Morning Adventures, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comics starting back up again. It had already had one little mini series run, and now it's coming back. So maybe that's something that could happen for Dungeons and Dragons too. I would definitely welcome that. It's been a lot of fun reading this. We definitely have the team kind of has been kind of like kind of cracking, all over the place. And in this, by the end of it, the team is back on the same page. They are going, they're all, kicking ass, taking names. And we have at the end of the book, we have been waiting for Wenger to show up. And if you have watched the cartoon, like I said, you know exactly who Wenger is. And we've been waiting for Wenger to show up. And now finally Wenger has shown up. Thank you for a logical climax. This is Boer, Kambatis, and Berksham. Did I mention the creators? Yes, I did mention the creators on Nightwing. But thank you for the wonderful climax / cliffhanger. That was lovely. All right. Next, we're going to talk about, oh my gosh, guys, this is so sad. This issue was so sad. This is Static Shadows of Dakota, number 4, Nicholas Draper Ivy, Vita Alaya, and Will Quintana. Quintana. I'm going to go with Quintana. Okay, so guys, where last we saw Static, we had a little bit of a delay on this issue. And so I remember I had to go back and I'd be like, okay, so where did we last have this group? We know that there's people out there trying to round up and get rid of Bane babies. And what we found out is that Static, Virgil's little protege that he's a mentor for, has a little bit of a Bane baby situation going on. And before this issue, he was taken by these people. Now, this issue, you deal with what I love about Milestone is that they are highlighting, they're telling good stories, they're telling compelling stories, but they're highlighting social issues. I love that. And here they're highlighting a social issue where when Black teenagers, Black children go missing, Black or brown or indigenous, people don't pay attention. Or people automatically think that, oh, they're just involved with drugs or ran away or what have you. And the police were not taking his parents seriously. And Virgil and his dad came by and got them to actually start taking it seriously, they thought. And it really, it's so sad, guys. Like I started reading this Saturday evening. I was going to finish reading all my comics. I had like 4 to go, right? And so I read this first because I was going to leave a bunch of my indies for last, right? I had 2 indies and then 1 Dynamite IP comic, which we'll be talking about soon. And I was going to read them all, but I started with Static and I was just like so upset. I was like, you know what? This is a bummer. I'm done for the evening. Involving reading, because I was just like, no, no, oh my God. So, like, guys, this is a spoiler-tastic show, so I'm just going to go ahead and lay it out for you. The issue ends. So, like, Static encounters somebody that is very much a they want to help people, but they've also not like a hero like Static is. Static doesn't want to hurt people, but this character is very much kind of like a Punisher type a character, a Jason Todd type character, where it's Ghostmaker used to be like this, where and could still become that again, the way the storyline's going. A character that will fight bad guys by any means necessary. Any means necessary, including killing a bitch, okay? So he runs into this kind of person and he has a run-in with them. And he returns home and his parents and his family are like, they found him. They found his body. He's dead. Like, he's gone. And it ends with Virgil just, weeping in his family's embrace and everything like that. And it's so sad. This is a little kid that got taken and was just murdered, Like, I had to stop reading last night, or not last night, but Saturday night after that. I was like, that's too much. And then yeah, I was like, okay, it's okay. I can finish reading tomorrow because it was too much for me. But okay, so we had a lot of books that I read. So let's keep on moving. Next, I want to talk to you about one of the indies that I read. It's Terror War #2. What I think is happening here is, one, I'm going to echo what everyone else has been saying, that this is absolutely, it's been gorgeous. So I want to actually highlight a creator. So I'm actually going to go into the book. Just give me a moment. Terror War is about these teams that go around and kill dreams, like manifestations of nightmares that are happening in the world now. And they go around and they try to collect bounties by taking these beings out. And we're following a team, and there's another rival team. Okay, so let's do this. Okay, Saladin Ahmad wrote it. Pencils by David Costa. Inks by Jay Leaston. Colors by Walter Perea. Letters Sean Lee, and edits Heather Antos. Heather Antos, oh my goodness, she is Heather Antos is actually also an editor at IDW of Star Trek and other licensed items. So I want to in particular talk about inks and what inking does to give us definition. And I'm trying to find a good spot to look at this, like what inking gives us in definition. You know what? How about I just go and give you this, because look at all that. Oh my gosh, it's so you know what? Let me find a good one with the flames. Like, look at that. And oh, it's just gorgeous. If you can't tell from the computer screen, and you haven't read Terror War, next time you're in your LCS, if they've got a issue of 1 or 2, Either way, like take a look at it, and you'll see it for yourself. But um, you have two rival bounty teams competing. One of them steals the bounty from our team that we're following in the beginning of the issue, and then the team gets, the people that they saved. They saw what happened in the team that we're following. They're like, you know what, we know you just lost your bounty, and that really sucks. But like, we want to actually give you our thanks and give you what money that we can. And so they're like, you know what, it's not enough to pay our bills, but it's enough to give us a night off. And so they go seeking a night off from an area of town that it's kind of like the like nightlife, but like there's a bar where there are ladies that may or may not, I can't tell for sure, may or may not be sex workers. The reason why I'm kind of like iffy on like just saying that they are is because it's not actually said, but it's implied in the text, and so I'm not sure, but there's nothing wrong with that. Um, that's the only reason why I'm having a hesitation on actually coming out and saying it loud and proud. Um, because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think there might be. So all of a sudden, there's huge fire, monsters running around outside. So they're like, well, screw our night off. We're gonna have to go do stuff, right? So they show up. The team that boosted their bounty earlier show up as well, and it's not looking good for our team. And the other team shows up and helps. One of their people gets killed, and then we find there's this megaphone thing where it's like unauthorized dispatch of terror on blah blah blah, and then you find that both teams are being arrested. I think what we're going to have here is we're going to have one of these situations where the government was creating this, because they were saying this is unlike what we've thought ever. We're going to have a situation where we have the government is trying to knock out certain undesirables in undesired areas. And we're going to have kind of like a whole gentrification type of situation. This is just what I'm getting from what I'm reading, what I'm seeing, and what I'm noticing in the text and the art and that kind of thing. So again, we'll have one of those situations when we, later on, when we get to be like, okay, I was right, or okay, I was wrong. But that's it. And I'm very much enjoying the story, so we'll keep going. Hey guys, I picked up a Marvel #1 because I was hearing great things about it, and I picked up this lovely Stanley Art Germ Lau cover of Storm #1. I am a fan of 90s X-Men, and I was hearing that if you're a fan of 90s X-Men, then you're going to want to pick up this book. Now I got to go into the inside because apparently they don't put the crew on the inside of the outside of the book, but let's see here. So we have Storm, Blowback, Part 1, Wind Rider, and Nadsenti is the writer, Sid Kotian is the artist, Andrew Dahlhaus, colorer, VC's Arena, Mayer, letterer, and then we've got a variety of cover artists. So it is definitely very much a throwback to 90s era X-Men, Storm, Rogue, Kitty Pryde, Wolverine, we Colossus, all kinds of stuff like that. It's definitely a throwback. We definitely, if you did not read X-Men in the 90s, but you read or you watched the X-Men cartoon, you're definitely going to hear and see some things, or not hear, you're reading, unless you read it out loud. You're definitely going to see some things that may be familiar to you, such as they talk about how Storm defeated Callisto and became the leader of the Morlocks. That is something that is in the cartoon. And that's something that is talked about in this comic. So that's a good connection there. It's fun. And it is going to be Storm centric, meaning Storm has this kind of situation where she doesn't understand. Um, she's having a problem with her powers, y'all. And her powers are, she can't tell if nature is upset with her or if she is too upset to control her powers. She's having kind of a little bit of crisis of all that. Okay. And that's like a situation of this book. So I enjoyed it. I'm going to get the second one. So speaking of the second issue of a series, All Eight Eyes by C. Fox, Piotr Kowalski, Brad Simpson, and Hassan Otismain Elohau. I really tried with that, I swear to God. And I got this really gnarly looking cover. I love it. I love it so much. So, if you have not been reading All Eight Eyes, this is issue 2. If you like horror stuff, if you like monster stuff, monster movies, you would definitely probably like All Eight Eyes, unless you are you have arachnophobia, then I would advise against it. Oh my goodness. So basically what's happened is you have Vin, and he is running around with this old homeless dude and his dog, and they are killing these monster spiders all over the city of New York in the late 90s. Yep. That's basically the premise of the entire story. And in this one, you have a circumstance where I'm assuming it's police commissioner or mayor, is now aware. It's not the mayor. It's not the mayor because he's talking about Bloomberg being mayor. Okay, so there's a councilman or police commissioner or what have you, and he has this huge spider left dead on his desk, and he's like, no, we can't tell anyone that this is happening. We're gonna burn it. Just go burn it, you know. And then they end up going to this area where there's a warehouse that somebody's supposed to buy, and also Vin and the old man, they go to this place because they have heard rumors that a huge mother spider is going to be there, and so they take they go there at the same time, and one of the police officers that's aware of the spider issue with the councilman or whatever he is, went and was like, oh, heard they went to the warehouse. They heard all like this commotion of the old man and Vin fighting the monster spider. So they went to go check it out. So now the ending is basically you see Vin and the old dude fighting the spider, and this cop walks in like, oh shit. So that is a lot of fun. I love it. I'm having a lot of fun reading it. It's like really cool. So okay, so I mentioned a Dynamite IP palette cleanser book, and I guess you guys probably knew that I was going to be talking about Darkwing Duck. Okay, so again, palette cleanser. good content for adults that watched Darkwing Duck when he first came out. Also good for kids. Um, you have Darkwing's Adventures, and they are like the cartoon. They are episodic, but they're also you have an overall arc, but they are episodic. You can jump in and enjoy the issue no matter what, and it's not that difficult to grasp at the overall arc, and that's what's really great about Darkwing Duck. So basically, you have it's like watching the cartoon. I don't think I really have to say much more about it besides that. It's like watching the cartoon. You have Daybert and Laro on this comic book. This cover is by Ken Hazer, so I specifically picked that one out because I like his art, and that's all you really need to see about Darkwing Duck. Okay, so guys, we are at the top 3 books of the week. It's about time. Jesus Christ, Carrie. Um, So, in no particular order, my top issues from this week. We're going to start with the Unstoppable Doom Patrol, number 3 of 6. Just make it an ongoing already. For crying out loud. Make it an ongoing. The people want Doom Patrol. The people love Doom Patrol. Okay, and I do too. So we have Doom Patrol doing their thing where they've decided that they are going to go and intercept these monsters that are being created out of nowhere, possibly also from the Lazarus Planet situation, that are not going back to normal, to give them a place to be, a place to exist. And that's with the Doom Patrol. So we have they're picking up Doom Patrol is picking up one of these people, and basically what it is it's a person. It's a dude that has merged with Starro. Starro, though, has not been able to. Starro doesn't completely take over the dude's mind, so he has powers of Starro. However, he has his own brain about him, and he's decided his name is going to be Starbro. Um, when Clint and Negative Man are picking him up. However, you have Kyle Rayner and sorry, didn't mean to flip you off. You have Kyle Rayner and Guy Gardner are trying to intercept Starbro as well, and Doom Patrol has to outsmart the Green Lanterns to get away, and that's basically the book. That's the book, and you have a ending where um, we're definitely progressing with the whole overall DC Dawn of DC situation, which we saw in the primer from last week. Definitely, a lot of these situations are going to definitely involve um, Amanda Waller, and we're going to definitely have to deal with that. So the next one we're going to talk about, I very much enjoyed, and it's been a couple months since we've gotten it. It's Justice Society of America number 4, The New Golden Age. Um, Jeff Johns, Mike Ginen, and Jody Belair. Um, cover by Mike Ginen. Yeah. So Degaton is where we last left our heroes. Degaton what had shown up, and Helena Wayne is still working on her whole I have to save the Justice Society in different time periods from this guy, right? Um, killed my mother, trying to kill me, and all that jazz. But also, my father died, and I want to help him as well, right? So she lands in a time period where Batman still exists, and she wants to go see him, but she's not supposed to. Okay. And so the Justice Society uses a slight advantage that they have to temporarily defeat Degaton and send him packing for, to lick his wounds and to go back and regroup. And when they do that, Helena takes off for Gotham. And the end of the book, you have Helena Wayne. I'm your kid from the future. Finding Batman. Where that goes, who knows? But it could be a rough retelling of the story of that Helena Huntress type character. Because you have two Huntresses. You have Helena Bertinelli and you have Helena Wayne. And there is a Helena Wayne back in the day that was a Huntress that came and saw her parents. So we'll have to see where that goes. But guys, that means my number one book of the week is Green Arrow #2. Yes, Green Arrow. Everybody, everybody I've been hearing has been loving the Green Arrow run. It's long overdue. Thank you. Make this an ongoing as well, for crying out loud. We have Joshua Williamson. Oh golly, I'm gonna butcher this fucking name. Ayaski, maybe. And Fajaro Jr. This cover done by Ayaski and Fajaro Jr. indicating what Ollie's going to be doing, what Ollie and Leon are going to be doing, and also like, hey, don't worry, guys, we're gonna have some Arsenal, and we're gonna have some Black Canary action and more stuff involving direct stuff in this issue, if I remember correctly. Let me double check. Direct Amanda Waller issues in this book. Oh yeah. Direct Amanda Waller issues. And can somebody tell me why Peacemaker would have a sidekick named Peace Wrecker? That doesn't make much sense, but okay, I'm gonna allow it. Because it's just giving us equal opportunity, because Peace Wrecker is a woman. So all right, so Peace Wrecker and Peacemaker intercept Roy and Dinah on their excursion to try and find Amanda Waller to get information about where Leon and Ollie are, because they know that could be the right place to look. So that's what Roy and Dinah are doing. Green Arrow is doing his own thing wherever he lands, and he has now been joined by Leon, and they're doing their thing. And it looks like it's kind of like a Quantum Leap kind of situation. Like, after so long that they've been in a place, all of a sudden they start going do 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 do, and kind of dissipating, and they're like, oh no, not again, and they're like, where are we going? Oh no. And it's like with Quantum Leap, like it seems like Ollie has been doing this for a while, and Leanne has just started doing this. And it's like with Quantum Leap, where Sam Beckett never returns home. So now I think Ollie has, because he keeps on talking about how they're never going to go home, because every time he goes someplace else, he gets, dematerialized and ends up someplace else. He is not home. But he wants to be home, but he's starting to lose faith, it might be, in just trying to make the best of his situation. And that's kind of where it is right now. But Ollie is fun, wisecracking, everything that you want him to be. And Leon is a good little like sidekick to Ollie right now, which is kind of funny because she's Roy Arsenal's kid, and it's really what I love in the beginning is Roy is like, I just got reunited with my daughter, and she gets taken away from me again, and it's like he's there. There's a narrator that's like Ollie. It's Ollie's the narrator, which means like but he's also omniscient. So like he's talking about things that he is not there to witness, which kind of could give you a sense that we know that Ollie's going to be back, and he's talking about it later, but we don't know that for sure. And oh golly, it's really funny because he is like loading up on all armor that he can, and Dinah walks in, and the narration is like, there's a reason he's called Arsenal. Like he's got everything he could have on him. He is going to war, and he's like, don't even try to stop me. To Black Canary, and she's like, stop you? I'm gonna join you. I want Ollie back. Like I want you to have your daughter, and I want Ollie back. And so it's really great. I like the two stories. You're seeing what's happening, and then you're seeing what's happening one place, and then you're seeing what's happening with Ollie and Leanne. So I'm really enjoying it. It's well written. I knew when they were going to put Joshua Williamson on it that it was probably going to work, and I very much enjoy it. And anyways, guys, that's it for this week's comics. Thank you for coming on the journey with me. I really appreciate it. Check out some of our other stuff in the channel, and if you've never been here before, if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Hit that like, subscribe, and notification bell. And if you like what you're seeing, please feel free to share with your friends about this wonderful channel that you just found, or maybe you've been repeatedly finding. If you've been here for a while, thank you very much for being here with us. And if you are so inclined and you want to help the channel out, obviously a like, share, and subscribe is a-okay. But if you are so inclined and you want to support the channel even further, please take a look down in the description for any way that you can, and follow us on Instagram at @officiallyunofficialgeek, and you'll be aware of everything that we're doing, everything we're saying, everything we're partaking in, and having whatever fun we can where we can. So anyways, but that's it for today. Until next time, keep your eyes and ears open. If you see something, say something. And remember, the complacent never make a difference. This has been the Officially Unofficial Geek channel Spoilertastic video, and we'll be seeing ya. Bye-bye.